belong to a group, and that was wrong. So the people shouldn't get punishment nor benefit because they belong to a particular group. But if you're an individual, you should have absolutely the same rights as everybody else. And you certainly deserve the protection of the rule of law, and that you should be protected against the government. The government shouldn't be undermined. And that was the purpose of the government, to protect the liberty. And here they are arresting us now and saying you don't even deserve an attorney. This is not You know, the founders also warned us that if we weren't careful, they believed in the republic, they were explicit, they knew what a republic was. It was representative government, it was small government, it was regional government, and they really worried a lot about democracy. And we have become careless, thinking democracy is the perfect term, because we go around the world dying for democracy. But democracy is the dictatorship of the 51%. Put a coalition together of 51%, and they can strip you of all your rights. The purpose of government is to protect you if you're an individual, not to have your rights taken from you. Ideas truly have consequences, and I think what's happening today, there truly is a revolution going on. It's a revolution of ideas. It's picking up the pieces where we left off 50, 70, 80, 90 years ago, picking up a good experiment that we had, the best one ever. And we can build on this. We don't have to reinvent it. And it's much different than some of the other countries. When the Soviet system collapsed, they did not have the same tradition. We at least have had traditions of private property rights. We've had traditions of sound money and limited government. And we, unfortunately, though, have been too careless with this. This is one thing that we do is we reject the principle of private property rights. We're just renters these days. We pay a high amount of taxes. They tell us when we can use it or not use it. And truly, the property is not owned by the people. Another example of not having ownership of our lives really is the income tax. The income tax is based on the proposition that the government owns all your income. No, they don't take all your income, but they control all your income. They tell you how much you can keep. You have to jump through all the hoops, and then they will allow you to keep a certain percentage, which means they have 100% control over your income. The principle of the income tax is basically anti-liberty. And the way that is set up, so in a true republic, the founders believed at least, they didn't give us the income tax. We slipped into having the income tax. They didn't give us the central bank. We gave that to ourselves. So we, as a people, have a lot of responsibilities too. But because we were so wealthy, people thought, quote, the wealth will never disappear. And more people then became more concerned about the material benefits of liberty. And it sort of invited the notion to get more goods and services. What you had to do is have more influence in Washington. So the lobbyists come in, and they run the show in the redistribution of wealth. And guess what? The defense of liberty went into the doldrums. And that has been going on for a good many years. Except it's alive and well today and growing by leaps and bounds, and the people know that the government can't deliver what they have promised. They can't deliver peace and prosperity. Only the people can do that, forcing the politicians to obey the Constitution. We can't.
Wow.
In order, if the drug addicts, they have to finally admit they have a problem, and then they come back. And we have to admit that we can't keep lying to ourselves. We have problems. We know what they are. It's too much government. It's not enough liberty. We need our Constitution. Constitution. The solutions are out there. They're available to us, and the revolution is really going on. Ideas have consequences, and I am delighted to tell you that there's a couple of groups coming together. Those who have dreamed about it, but rather have been complacent over the years because they have been disenfranchised and haven't been engaged, and they're coming back in because they hold things together. It's the remnant of society that always exists. They come back and they understand it, and they are coming out of the woodworks. The numbers are, difficult to measure. But we also have a whole new generation. The university students delivering the greatest message. There are some of my friends who don't believe in political action. They believe in education, and they do a good job, and they understand economics, and I think that's okay. People who understand that and want to dedicate their life to education, that's fine. They get very frustrated with politics. But the truth is, you do need both. You do need idealism, and you do need education. You do need an understanding of economics, and you need the academician standing up and explaining things. But ultimately, they have to be translated into a message that the people understand. Because if we want these changes, people will only accept them if they know it's in their best self-interest. And liberty is in all our self-interest. That is the message that we have to give. We have just a few things. We need to change the foreign policy of peace rather than war. We need a monetary policy of protecting wealth, not the destruction of the wealth of this country. We need property rights and understanding, but we need local government. We don't need another level of government going up to the United Nations and NATO. We don't need the federal government getting any bigger. We need to shrink the size of the federal government. We need to deliver the government back to the people. Liberties passed on back to the individual, it would be self-government. That would be the ultimate test. As long as we accept one principle, then we don't force other people to try to live the way we want to live. Stay out of other people's There's no reason to believe that we can't be successful. There's an election coming up. I hope you will participate. I hope you will. Let's make sure the one on the West Coast sends us our
recorded that whole thing on high def YouTube. Totally. There's a 16 gig card in there. So like